And welcome back to Watchbox Studios.
Hi everyone, welcome back to the Watch Insider.
Hello, hi. Welcome to Watchbox and thanks for logging on.
Okay, Esteban H asks, Tim, realistically, are there any alternatives to the size, the style, and the appeal of the FP Journe Chronometre Bleu? This is a wonderful question because a lot of people think there aren't, and upon review, it's actually a large number. A watch that is singular in FP Journe's lineup nevertheless has quite a few rivals in terms of color, character, size, and fit. Let's start with a Lunga Unzona. Now, the Journe is 39 millimeters by 8.6 millimeters thick, manual wind, and it's a tantalum case. The Lunga Unzona Saxonia Thin Copper Blue debuted at SIHH this year. 39 millimeters by 6.2 millimeters thick. We're white gold. We're looking at a blue aventurine dial. Gorgeous. It's sort of a blue glass with metal flakes, copper fragments mixed in, almost like the cosmos at night. Now, it's a silver dial base, so it's actually the aventurine on top of solid silver, and then it's caliber L093 with a 72-hour manual wind power reserve. That absolutely qualifies as an alternative, and it costs right about the same amount as the $22,800 retail price of the Chronometre Bleu. I believe this one is actually about $22,000 US.
Speaking of Patek, we have one of the more collectible pieces here on the table. This is a, I will say an absolutely stunning example of a 5970 Rose. So 5970 Rose is a perpetual calendar chronograph. It is the prior version of that complication, the current version being the 5270. The 5970s were available in both rose, white gold, yellow gold, and platinum, and are perhaps some of the, I would say, most iconic and collectible Patek Philippe watches ever made.
So let's start with the first one was actually a Speedmaster that we saw. Do we have the screenshot of that? Hey, okay, nice. Go. All right, so so this is like a 1950. The re-edition now is a 57, which actually I have one on the table, and we'll see when we come back. But so you can see what this sold for. Which, well, first of all, you see the estimate here, right? Sometimes the estimates are way off base. Sometimes they're not. I believe that the estimate going into it of between 80,000 and 140,000 Swiss francs was probably somewhat of an accurate assessment. If you could see there, the watch went for nearly $500,000. Right. Right. So, or actually, I don't even know the conversion. I can look at it, but 400,000 Swiss francs this watch sold for. That's with the buyer's premium, but that's unbelievable. It shows that people are spending money on things other than Patek and Rolex. I mean, that's a huge thing. What do you think about that, Jason?
Yeah. So I think to speak to your point with the estimate on the Swiss franc, when you see an estimate that is roughly within $20,000 or $30,000 range, that means that some of these have already been sold. There's some results. They kind of have an idea.
It's a truly educated guess.
It's a truly educated guess. So the spread is not as wide. We'll see some of these other ones where the spread is $100,000.
Yeah,
so
or
really,
50,000. That'll be the next one we talk about.
And we have no idea. It's kind of just uneducated guess at that point.
So,
but as far as the Speedmaster, I think it's really relevant because you're starting to see what we always talk about. Yeah. We'll cut into. While I'm talking about it, we always talk about, like these reissued vintage pieces and what they do for the new buyer, being able to get into something that's newer technology but older looking, which is what Josh is showing you now. That's the 38 millimeter version of the Speedmaster 57, which is basically new skin, old flavor of the watch we just showed you that sold for nearly
$500,000 over $500,000 US dollars, but 408,000 Swiss francs that watch sold for. So that was a big surprise.
Yeah,
huge
you can get
surprise.
this one for just a little less than that.
Yeah, so. you can make us an offer. But yeah, so what we're seeing is that Omega, the Speedmaster is their strongest watch, right? You would agree?
Yeah.
But even still, they tend to take a hit pre-owned. That's just the way it works. Omega, it's a mass producer of watches. They make good watches, but they make a lot of watches, so not that hard to get. You're usually seeing these watches at a great discount from the retail, except for maybe a few like the Snoopy, which has gone out of control, and that was a new thing from last year. Speedy Tuesday was really popular. So we're seeing a lot of people spending a lot of money on Speedmasters, so it's something to look at, right?
The entire series had a remarkably short run, too. When you think about these only being made from roughly 2004 to 2010, with at most perhaps 100 to 150 possible in each metal per year, and even that would have been a stretch. And that's based on purely estimates regarding how quickly they were able to make the 5070 using the same base movement. But this is one of those cases where smart people realize in-house calibers mean nothing. Value and scarcity is everything. So while the 5270 is a lovely watch and arguably just coming into its own with the 5270p, every single version of the 5970 is the ultimate 5970. And it's purely a matter of which one you can buy in the best condition. That's the one to buy. This one's in excellent condition, as you can see. All of the remarkable facets and steps of the case, and it has many, are fully intact, full, and sharply defined. The dial is handsome and nicely arranged. For a movement that was distinctly smaller than the case, Patek performed some superb visual gymnastics to make everything look symmetrical and proportional. A really handsome watch and an old school end of an era Patek. What I love most, look at the size of that balance. It's 1/3 the diameter of the entire CH27 caliber. That is just dynamite. That is old school. That's how they did it before high beat rates. Now, Nomos Glasuta. Okay, a little bit bigger than the Journe at 42 millimeters, but very similar in style and sensibility. The Nomos Glasuta Lambda Tiefblau, the dark blue granular dial, 42 millimeters by 8.9 millimeters thick, white gold, dark blue dial with a lovely pebbly grain. You can see that enormous 84-hour radial power reserve at 12 o'clock. This one is all dial. You can see how the bezel has been pared back. Absolutely gorgeous, and 42 millimeters, so it's bigger, but 8.9 millimeters thick, so it's still going to clear a dress cuff if you want to wear it that way. Manual wind caliber DUW 1001. It's really the only hand-finished and hand-engraved Nomos caliber. Definitely worth the price of admission at $20,000 US. You can buy it from us at Govberg Watchbox or direct from Nomos on their website. Again, $20,000 US for that one. Moser Venturer Small Seconds Purity. This is a brand I love, and this is a watch that can absolutely go toe-to-toe with Journe. I've often referred to Moser as the German-Swiss version of the FP Journe manufacturer. Moser makes about 1,000 to 1,500 watches a year, Journe about 650 to 900. The watch you're looking at here has a sensational sky blue gradient fumé metallic grain to it. You'll notice very minimalist, beautiful watch executed in white gold, 39 millimeters in diameter. $21,500 US with a wonderfully slick caliber in-house by Moser with a manual wind 3-day power reserve and case-back power reserve gauge. Look at those gorgeous double-crested Côte de Genève, a special watch. And you'll note a kudu strap. Who else does that?
So the next one that was important for us to look at was there was a Patek, a Nautilus 3700 reference Nautilus. Okay, so this was a big deal as well. You can see that there was an estimate 50,000 Swiss francs to 100,000, which means basically they had no clue what it was going to sell for. And if you look at this reference that's not signed, and that the biggest issue here, not the biggest issue, the biggest thing you want to look at here is that it's signed Gublin, right? So
which is super cool.
Co-signed Patek Nautilus dials go for insane amounts of money. Tiffany signed Patek Nautiluses go for crazy money. So this one has a small, small typeface Gublin written on the dial, and it went for roughly $70,000 more than what you see other Patek 3700 references in steel go for. But it is important. It's showing that the Nautilus is still going strong.
Yeah, and then so one of the things with that piece too is which is unique, and I'm sure brought some of that premium, is that had all the original Gublin box and paper set and everything.
Well, it had the
too.
cork box. Did it have the papers?
Is,
I wasn't sure.
I think it did. I think it was a full set, which is like a rare unicorn. Very cool watch. Obviously that's not your guy that's buying his first Nautilus. No. That's a guy that's 7, 8 in, and that's definitely a grail piece for sure. I don't know about spending that extra lot though for the Gublin dial. But
I mean, listen, the watch is extremely rare.
If you got the money, I guess you can justify anything.
Well,
but
that goes for anyone who's spent any money on these.
That's a
special
piece.
So when we look at something like this, we're saying, all right, well that reaffirms that the Nautilus is still strong.
For sure.
You can still see them selling for between 45 and 55, for the 5711 references.
Well, even more so, I think that what it does is, the newer pieces that are being put out today, they're so hard to get, and they're going for such a premium that it's like, why not go find one of the older pieces that was, started this trend, right? And it's truly rare and has a signed dial, and find something that's truly special and spend a tad more than just the hype that's on the secondary market.
Exactly. So I mean, listen, you can go buy a brand new 5711 from gray market dealer or pre-owned and spend your $50,000, or for only another $50,000, you can get something that's truly
in this
rare.
case, yeah.
Exactly. So, but again, it shows us that Nautiluses are going really strong.
Definitely could not have said it any better. 5970 is probably one of my favorite references that they've ever come out with. Moving back to the 5270, I definitely do believe that the watch is really coming into its own. It definitely found its way with the 5270 Platinum, and we've seen prices on all the prior versions really starting to rise in order to keep up with that. I think that since they discontinued the Rose, as well as all the other versions, everybody's sort of out there now scrambling in order to try and find them. And, they've pretty much been flushed out of the retail network for the most part, and, really are only available in the secondary market. And we've seen, demand spike up for, the Rose, the white gold with the chin blue dial, without the chin. So, it's very interesting what's happening in that market.
It's true, and that the rising tide eventually lifts all boats. When people start taking another look at a good watch that maybe got a bum rap out of the gate, the 5270 was exactly that.
Well, out of the gate, it did not have a bum wrap. It was actually an application piece.
It was an application piece, but at the same time, they were fidgeting with it by 2013. So it came out in 2011. By 2013, they already saw a need to dramatically redesign the dial. So though it had a good, I'd say, first 6 months, it was nothing like the 5970, which was just always waitlisted, back-ordered, and on application. The problem was, at some point, they lost their way with the 5270. They were able to, A, make as many as people demanded because it was scaled production-wise. They planned it in advance that they'd be able to scale production. And B, they had some aesthetic issues with the dial. They could never quite settle on the best combination of tachymeter scale and minute track. I thought they should have just left it at the 2011 design, to be perfectly honest. But I do think that with the new Platinum and Salmon dial, they found something that they could run with for as long as they want. I hope they keep it short and exclusive. I hope it remains special.
I agree, and I definitely think that they are going to keep this one short and special. There's, I'm sure, going to be a yellow gold example coming out at some point in the future for them.
Probably a 1 year yellow
Probably
gold.
a 1 or 2 year yellow gold for them to finish it out. What'll be really interesting to see is what comes after the 5270, because, there's got to be something to replace that.
You deserve a Parmigiani. If you're considering the Journe and you can't stand the weight, Parmigiani has got just the ticket. Parmigiani Fleurier Tonda 1950. Now this one is 39 millimeters by 8 millimeters thick. You have a grade 5 titanium case with a blue meteorite dial, matching blows, and I mean blow for blow, with FP Journe with an unconventionally beautiful blue dial and an offbeat metal for the case. Not precious metal here, but titanium. You'll note, for good measure, this one also has a luminescent dial, so a little bit more utility and a little bit of a sports watch practicality in that it has a micro rotor automatic with a 48-hour power reserve. $19,500 US. That's a sensational watch and a wonderful Chronometre Bleu alternative if you don't want to pay a pre-owned premium for the watch or wait in line at your authorized dealer.